Hey everyone, welcome to Backstage Buzz, your source for movies and the GTA live theater reviews, news, and interviews. I'm your host, Mark Salonius. Since this is our first episode, I thought I'd give you a little background on me and what this show is all about. I'm an actor in Toronto. I've been on TV and film and stage for over the past 20 years. Been nominated for some acting awards and have a passion for entertainment, which is why I'm doing this. Each video that I will put out on this channel will either feature an actor from one of the GTA productions, both professional and non-professional, a movie review, news from around the entertainment world. So please remember to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to get notified of new videos. Okay, enough about me and the channel. Let's get to today's video. So today on the show, I've got Chief Toronto critic for Onstage blog, Joe Szekeres. Is that how you say it? Szekeres?
It's been pronounced many different ways.
Many different, just like my last name, right?
Yes, yeah.
Joe Szekeres. Joe has a lot of experience in both education. He was a teacher at the Durham Catholic District School Board and in the arts, where he has many productions. He's been an actor on stage and a director. So welcome, Joe. If you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe expand on what I just said, that'd be great.
I taught with the Durham Catholic District School Board for 33 years. And after that, I decided, it's time to retire and time to try other things. So in between all that time as well, I was volunteering in not the professional groups, in the community theater groups, off and on, both as an actor and as a director. And everything was going along just fine there. I just decided afterwards that it was time to try something different. I needed to expand my interest once
Something
again.
a little new, expand your horizon.
Yes, something a little bit new. And I've always been interested in wanting to write reviews, just to inform people about that. Now, first thing I want to be able to say is, by no means, Mark, am I a journalist. I'm not a journalist whatsoever. I'm just a retired teacher who has an interest in the live theater, and I wanted to know what was going on, both on the community scene and on the professional scene as well. So I had taken 2 workshops led by Lynn Slotkin through Theatre Ontario, but I think, as we know right now, Theatre Ontario is
unfortunately
pretty well a done deal right now.
Unfortunately, yes. And this is why live theater in the arts is very important. And with them cutting the arts in schools, it really drives me crazy. But that's for a whole other show. I won't get into that in this show because that could be a whole episode by itself. So
anyways, I had taken these 2 workshops with Lynn Slotkin, and she helped me to hone some of my skills as a writer. I have an honors English and language art degree from the University of Western Ontario, so I wanted to try something different. So the review came along, and I've been doing it ever since for a number of community theaters and for professional theaters as well. I've gone to Montreal. I've reviewed in New York City at an off-Broadway show, a number of professional Toronto companies, and a few of the companies here in Durham region and in the GTA.
Absolutely, and I do have a funny story to talk to about Joe. I directed a show at Ajax Community Theatre called I'll Be Back Before Midnight, and Joe came to review it, and it was opening night. Now, this show was very heavy in tech and very special effects oriented. Needless to say, none of it was working properly that day. So I'm in the audience and I'm texting Joe saying, no, can you come back tomorrow? Can you come back tomorrow? Come back. And Joe said, I can't. I've got other reviews lined up. So that was my funny story with Joe, which I thought was good to share with you guys. And I've read a lot of Joe's reviews of his professional shows and of his the shows that are non-professional community theater shows. Not to say that that's not for professional, but and he's reviewed me. He's reviewed many of my colleagues and my friends, and I take what people say about my acting to heart. I take it and I try and improve myself. I don't take it as a means to, he didn't like what I did. I'm terrible. No, that's not how I look at it. I look at it as a way for somebody other than the director who's seen me for 6-7 weeks do the same thing over and over again. Somebody with fresh eyes that can say, hey, you could have done this a little bit better, or I couldn't hear you. Your volume could have been a little better, right?
How I look upon my role here, when it comes to community theaters, non-professional and professional, number one is I'm not out to be cutthroat. I'm not out to be cutthroat to anybody, because nobody has to put up with that. Absolutely nobody. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm not going to pat mediocrity on its head. So, for example, if I can't say that I can't hear a production from wherever I'm sitting in the audience. I'm going to put that in my article. I couldn't hear most of the production.
Absolutely.
It's the same thing when it comes to some musicals. Okay, that there are some big musicals that are playing. Okay, that have played in the GTA in the Durham region. Some of the shows that I've gone to, I couldn't hear the lyrics to the songs because the orchestra overpowered them.
Been there, absolutely.
Okay, and in other words, that you've got a situation that you got to work out. Granted, your non-professional theaters don't spend, you don't spend, 70, 80, 90 bucks. What did I hear for Hamilton coming up? That you're charging for Hamilton tickets?
Oh, God.
Starting at $150.
Yeah,
starting.
Expensive.
Starting. But anyways, so in other words, community theater, non-professional, they don't charge $150.
Correct.
They'll charge $20, $25. But still, $20, $25, you want to make sure that you can hear
Absolutely.
the actors if they're singing, if they're saying something.
Correct.
So that's the first thing. I also have two other colleagues. I have David Rabjohn and Paul Love.
Yep.
And the three of us, that's the one thing we want to be able to do is we want to be able to educate, hopefully better inform the audiences, so that way then audiences can become far more educated in the art of live theater as well too. They don't have to take everything that they have right at face value.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you. There's nothing worse than going to see a bit of live theater and either you can't hear the lyrics to a song because the orchestra is too loud, or you can't hear what somebody's saying and you're saying to the person beside you, hey, what did he just say? What did he just say? That is extremely important, especially when it comes to plot lines, right? If you can't hear what somebody's saying, you don't know what they're talking about. They can't further the story with you. So that's important to me.
And usually in my notes, that's the first thing I'll write down. I can't hear them.
Exactly. That's immense.
Or it's the same thing. If the orchestra's overpowering the singer, I can't hear the singer. I can't hear the lyrics.
Exactly. Now, I mean, I've been, like I said, acting for about 20 years, and I've got a big booming voice. I've kind of developed that, I guess you could say, since I've been in theater, because people say you have to hit the back of the theater. I've played to 200-300 people. And I have to make sure that each one of those 300 people hear my voice.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if somebody in the audience says, I couldn't quite hear you, well, great. I know that now. They were in the audience. I thought it was loud enough. No, I'm going to have to really speak up because, even though it might sound like yelling to me, it's not.
We have to keep in mind as well, okay, that you and I are probably from the old school where we didn't have the microphones many years ago. It was the voice. That was it. That's all we had to be able to project.
That's right. So Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you for introducing yourself. That's great. Had a little bit of a nice little chat about reviewing, which is nice. I'm hoping to have Joe on the show on a regular basis where he can come and review some of the professional and community theater productions that he has seen that are still open so that the rest of you can go and see them as well and maybe give your opinions on them as well.
Can I just interject there for a second, Mark? I'm going to see two non-professional community theater shows this coming week. I'm seeing Scarborough Music Theater's production of Into the Woods. That's on Friday. And I am seeing Ajax Community Theater's production it's the second Friday.
That would be the 15th, correct?
Of the Cemetery Club. So those are the two local productions that I'm slated to review, and I'll be able to report on those later on then.
Perfect. So, I knew it was the 15th because I'm the box office manager for Ajax Community Theater. So I set him up with his tickets for all the shows that he can come and review them.
Can I also get a plug for the two websites?
Sure.
Okay,
absolutely.
Thank you. For Onstage blog, it is www.onstage, ONSTAGE, blog, BLOG, all one word.com. And if you just type in my name, SZEKERES, all my reviews from the professional theaters will pop up there.
Perfect.
Okay? And the local one, Slow City, that'll be www.slowcity.ca. And when you click on there at the top of the screen, you'll see like a little tab that says Theater Door. Just click on Theater Door, and boom, that takes you to all the reviews.
Perfect. And I'll put all that information down into the description below, so make sure you read that so you can easily click on the links as well. Perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome.
There's my plug.
Awesome. So let's get into it. I want to hear about some of these reviews. So why don't you tell me what shows you're going to review? The first, then give me a little bit of a plot around them.
Okay. Well, I want to tell you about the first one I saw, The Flick. Annie Baker's The Flick, which is now on at Crow's Theater, which runs until November the 2nd, this Friday. But it's been here Oh gosh, I think almost a month and a bit then. All right, directed by Mitchell Cushman. The performers are Colin Doyle, Amy Keating, and Durray McFarlane. 3 hours and 15 minutes, one intermission, and it is phenomenal, tremendous theater. I am trying to say to everybody, if you can beg, borrow, run, try to get a ticket to see the flick, do so, because it is theater at its finest. Mitchell Cushman, who's the director of the production, he's taken the story just deals with two ushers and a projectionist. And it's the conversations that go on in this theater called The Flick, which is slated to close. So it's all these various conversations going on between the characters and their connections that they make to each other. Fascinating character study. Absolutely fascinating. Okay, and as I said, you've got Colin Doyle, Amy Keating, and Durray McFarlane. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's possibly up for some doors this year.
Really?
That's
that strong,
powerful this production is.
Phenomenal.
Now, again, you can go to crowstheater.com. The address is 345 Carlaw Avenue. I don't know if you can get tickets for that or not, but that is the one thing that I'm saying to people is, yes, go and see The Flick. Annie Baker's The Flick, if you can. Then.
Go see The Flick. That sounds like a great review. I want to go see that for sure. It closes Friday. Not sure if I can get out to see it, but 3 hours, 15 minutes.
And 15
wow.
minutes. And the setting is an actual movie theater. You've got actual movie theater seats, about 7 or 8 rows that you and Sarah Lise might go to the movies one night. You've got the projection upstairs, and you got the person with the projections, and you got the entrance that the actors will come in from the back. Like I remember I sat down, my mouth just dropped.
It looks good, eh?
It is so good.
Nice.
Yeah. So that closes November the 2nd. Now, along at Crow's Theater as well is Ghost Quartet.
Oh, I saw that one. What is
that? Yeah, that's directed by Marie Farzi. It's a chamber musical. Now, it's a very odd story. You have 4 singers. You have Bo Dixon, Andrew Penner, Haley Gillis, and Kira. I'm hoping I pronounced this right, Kira, if you're listening. Galoyan, I'm hoping I pronounced that right, Kira. Okay, but what it is, it's a series of interwoven stories that you have to pay close attention to because the stories do connect. You're listening, and it's all done through song, some dialogue. It's all done through song, through music as well. And you're thinking, where are the connections to this thing? But be patient because the stories do connect with each other after a while. And words I used to describe in my article were ethereal, supernatural, since we're approaching Halloween.
Interesting.
Oh, very mysterious. And what it also reminded me as well is the old, when we were in grade 10 history class talking about the speakeasies.
Yes.
You had the haze, of sitting in a speakeasy. You can go and buy rum. You can buy rye. You can have a glass of whiskey as you're watching the production as well, too.
That sounds fabulous.
Now, Ghost Quartet with the music and lyrics by Dave Malloy. That runs to November the 10th, I believe.
So another week and a half.
Another week and a half, then, yes. Okay. That was extended because the ticket demand for that one was incredible. That's 100 minutes with no intermission.
And where's that one playing?
Crow's Theater as well.
That's at the Crow's Theater as well.
That's
great.
Once again, the address, 345 Carlaw Avenue in Toronto.
And do they have a website?
crowstheater.com.
crowstheater.com. I'll put that down in the description as well. Fantastic. Those two sound like phenomenal little shows.
And then I also went to Factory
Theater. Okay, yes.
Yes, I've been busy this week. Okay,
you have been busy this week.
Yes, Factory is located on Bathurst, 125 Bathurst, and that production is Trout Stanley by playwright Claudia Day. It's a really very odd, quirky story of 3 people. You've got the Ducharme sisters, Grace and Sugar, and this drifter who enters their lives named Trout Stanley.
What's the person's name? Okay.
The person's name is Trout Stanley.
Initially, I thought it was like a city or something.
That's what I first thought.
Yeah.
I'd never read the script. Okay, so I had no idea. No, this is the name of the drifter. Okay, and what happens is it's a very odd story of two identical twin sisters who look nothing alike. Okay. They look nothing alike, but they're identical twin sisters, Grace and Sugar.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this is it. It's very odd, and they're celebrating their 30th birthdays, and they're also celebrating the 10th anniversary of their parents' deaths. Their parents died on the same day.
Very interesting.
Okay, and then what happens is Grace is the one who owns the local dump, and she goes to work at the local dump. It takes place in northern British Columbia. So and Sugar doesn't leave the house that much. Sugar is the little bit of the odd one. For example, she wears her dead mother's tracksuit. The last 10 years, she wears her dead mother's tracksuit.
Does she have something mentally wrong with her?
Well, that's running until November the 10th. So if you get a chance to go and see that one, again, it's odd. And then this drifter, Trout Stanley, and who's played by Stephen Jackman Torkoff. Okay.
Any relation to Hugh Jackman?
I don't think so. But again, a very odd story because there are all these triangles that happen. Okay, and it left me with a lot of questions at the end. And I'll be honest with you, I still have a few questions about where the story was possibly going. If anything, though, it's the performances. You want to see some dynamic, terrific performances. Okay, this is another one as well too. Okay,
and that's one of the reasons why I go to see live theater is to, be taken into the story and watching people's or actors' performances kind of just draw me in and take me into that story and forget where I am. Like be in that story with them. I don't know if any of my viewers have ever had that experience of going to see either a movie or a live theater and you're drawn in. The last movie I went to see was Joker. I was drawn into that character. Disturbing, but phenomenal.
And that's the immersive experience, okay? That if we can actually just forget that we are sitting there and that we're actually in the lives of these people, that's terrific theater. That's terrific filmmaking.
Absolutely.
That if you can sort of, just remove that fourth wall and you're actually right there.
Remove that veil,
in the heart of that, in the heart there. So, so those were the three that I saw just this past week. I was in Montreal to see Alice in the World We Live In, which closes November the 10th. That's the Centaur, which is the English language theater. So everybody's in Montreal, get to see, Alice in the World We Live In. And coming up this coming week is I'm seeing Almighty Voice and his wife at Soul Pepper.
Almighty Voice and his wife. Is that like the God and his wife?
It deals with the indigenous issues.
Oh, interesting.
Here in Canada. Okay. So that's all that I know at this time. Okay. So that's on Thursday this week, Halloween night, and then I'm seeing Into the Woods at Scarborough Music Theatre on Friday.
Very good. Awesome.
So again, hoping I'll be able to report back on Almighty Voice next time I see you. And
yes, absolutely.
With Into the Woods.
Absolutely. And when does Almighty Voice close?
That I think it's also November the 10th as well.
Also the 10th. Okay.
I think I'll have to go back. But if you go to soulpepper.ca.
Soul Pepper Theater, right.
Yeah,
awesome.
Soulpepper.ca.
Great.
You'll be able to check that out there too. But I'm hoping, again, I'll have my review up on, hopefully on slowcity.ca or on stage, one or the other, and you can check it there then.
Sounds fantastic. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming out, Joe, to this inaugural episode or the inaugural video of Backstage Buzz.
Thank you.
Hopefully, no problem at all. We can make this a regular thing. Would be fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime, Joe. It's an absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
And thanks for coming. Thanks, guys, and hope again, if you like the show and you like the content, please do subscribe and hit that bell to be notified of our new videos. And until next time on Backstage Buzz, I'm Mark Salonius saying, we'll see you later.